Okay, what if I told you that a 400-year-old mystery holds the key to understanding some of today's biggest crises? I'm talking climate change, global migration, the whole shebang. Well, that's exactly the puzzle at the heart of Amitav Ghosh's incredible novel, Gun Island, and we're about to dive in and crack it.
So how can a 17th century myth have anything to say about the 21st century? I mean, really, how can a forgotten legend explain the world we see on the news every single day? It turns out, it all starts with a single, kind of strange, out-of-place word in a very old story. Let's follow the clues.
All right, so let's get into it. Our journey starts with a guy named Dinanath Datta. Everyone calls him Dean. He's a pretty quiet, rare book dealer living in Brooklyn. You know the type. But his quiet life is about to get completely turned upside down when a trip back home to Kolkata pulls him into this amazing historical detective story.
And this is where we hit the central puzzle. See, Dean knows the classic Bengali myth of Chand Saudagar. He's a merchant who really gets on the wrong side of Manasa Devi, the goddess of snakes. But then he hears this strange version of the story, one that calls the merchant Bunduki Saudagar, which translates to the gun merchant. Now hold on a second. Guns? In a 17th century folktale? It doesn't add up, right? And that little detail, that anachronism, is the hook that gets.
So Dean's quest for answers takes him to a really incredible place, the Sundarbans. These are the huge mangrove forests on the Bay of Bengal. And you have to understand, this is a place that's already on the front lines of climate change. We're talking about a land of shifting, sinking islands. It's here, in this powerful setting, that the old myth starts to feel less like a simple story and a lot more like a warning.
And then he finds it. At this remote, crumbling shrine, Dean finds actual physical proof. The terracotta walls are just covered in carvings that make the mystery even deeper. You can see the guns carved right into the panels. There's the cobra's hood, the symbol of the goddess Manasa Devi. You've got these turbaned figures who look like they're on a journey, and even some crude hieroglyphs that look a lot like a sea route. So what does this all mean? It means this isn't just a story someone made up. It's a record of something that actually happened.
But here's the thing. The clues aren't pointing to some simple answer you could find in a history book. Nope. To solve this mystery, Dean has to become a different kind of detective, a linguistic detective. The entire puzzle, the whole connection between the past and the present, it's all about to be unlocked by digging into the history of just one single word.
And the specific tool he has to use for this is called etymology. If you're not familiar, it's basically the study of where words come from and how their meanings have changed over time. Think of it like the archaeology of language. You're digging through all these layers of meaning to find a word's true origin. And believe me, in this story, etymology is the key that opens every single door.
So, let's actually follow the wild journey of this one word, bunduk. It's fascinating. It all starts way back in Greek, with a word that just means hazelnut. Simple enough. Then Arabic borrows it as bunduk. At first it still means hazelnut, but later it's used for the little pellets you'd shoot from a crossbow. Okay, still with me? But here's the big leap. The Arabic name for the city of Venice was Al-Bundukavia, and that name traveled along the ancient trade routes all the way to Bengal, where it eventually morphed into their word for a gun, bunduk. Just incredible, isn't it?
And that changes everything. The legend was never about a gun merchant. It was all a linguistic accident, a coincidence that twisted the meaning over hundreds of years. Bunduki Saudagar doesn't mean the gun merchant. It actually means the merchant from Venice. Suddenly, the myth isn't about a weapon at all. It's about a place. It's about a destination.
Okay, so once that code is cracked, the story just explodes. It bursts out of the past and slams right into our present. That merchant's ancient journey, it stops being some dusty historical curiosity. Instead, it becomes this shocking mirror, reflecting the migrations and the crises that are happening all around us right now.
I mean, just look at the parallels. They're absolutely striking. The merchant back then, he was fleeing a massive climate disruption, a period historians now call the Little Ice Age. He was literally escaping the wrath of a goddess who was really just nature itself. And today's migrants, well, they're also fleeing climate change, cyclones, rising seas, but their journey is supercharged by what the novel calls the magic carpet of the internet and smartphones. The hardships look a little different, sure. It's human traffickers and hostile borders instead of pirates and storms. But the core story, it's the same, just separated by 4 centuries.
And this whole connection, past and present, really comes to a head in the story of the Blue Boat. This is a vessel filled with refugees, stranded in the Mediterranean. As the novel puts it, this boat becomes this incredibly powerful modern symbol, a symbol for everything that's going wrong: inequality, climate change, corruption. It's all right there in that one boat.
So, what's the big takeaway here? What does all this mean? Well, the novel is basically arguing that these connections between the past and the present, between people and nature, they aren't just clever literary tricks. They're the fundamental reality of the world we live in. And that's why the title Gun Island becomes so ironic, right? Because the whole point of the story is that no one and no place is ever truly an island.
And get this, it's not just people who are on the move. The novel is packed with these really unsettling migrations from the non-human world. You've got venomous sea snakes suddenly appearing off the coast of Southern California, invasive shipworms literally eating the wooden foundations of Venice, spiders, like the brown recluse, showing up way outside their normal range. These are not random events. The book presents them as omens, as signs that the entire planetary system is being shaken up. Ultimately, what the novel leaves us with is this one really powerful idea. Everything is connected. The climate crisis of the 17th century is echoing in our own, right now. The journey of a migrant from a sinking island in Bengal is tied directly to the history of a sinking city in Italy. As the book says, we cannot and should not be isolated. We're not cut off from our past, and we're not cut off from each other.
Think about it. This entire sprawling global story, it all started from cracking the code of a single misunderstood word. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other huge, profound connections that are shaping our world right now are hidden in plain sight just waiting for someone to notice?